Hi everybody, this is Jerry from Missing Persons of America. I want to tell you about this couple, Tammy K. Arthur, 32, and Chad Michael Peters, who's 40, that went missing from Corpus Christi, Texas. It was brought to my attention, this case, because of the other couple that went missing in Corpus Christi, Texas. They had their RV and they were found deceased. And this was kind of brought to my attention. People say, oh, there's another couple that's been missing. And this was like a year ago that Tammy and Chad went missing. This is the first time I've heard about it. I want to go back and discuss this case with you and see what you think and things I found out about it and let you know. See you in a minute. Well, Tammy and Chad had moved to Corpus Christi, Texas from Ohio. They were leasing an apartment, and right around, it was November 7th, they were seen on video crossing over the border in Laredo into Mexico. Now, so let me back up a little bit. I got a hold of Roxana, who is Tammy's mother, and I talked to her about this case. There was a lot of questions that I had that I was not seeing anywhere, so I want to get the information straight. And there's still a couple questions, I think, as I talk about it that I wonder about it. And if you guys have any questions, want to know the answers, please give me an instant message or let me know. And also, while we're on that subject, don't forget to subscribe so you can see more videos like this. And they had communicated with their family on November 9th. They said they were in Bruni, Texas. Bruni, Texas, which is not, it's up above, over towards, I would say over towards, not central, but over towards West Texas area. And they were saying that they were going to go have lunch, told a friend that they were going to go have lunch, and that was about it. As far as anybody knew, they were going to have lunch and they were going to go back. And at this point, this question comes up. I'm not sure if the family even knew that they were no longer at their apartment. One of the things that came up to me was, has anybody gone back to their apartment and seen what was left behind, what was there, what happened to that apartment? Because now we're talking about something that happened in 2018 and now this is 2019. So Roxana said that Tammy's brother went over to the apartment and the lease was up, and a lot of their belongings were gone. Assumingly Chad and Tammy had their belongings, and the manager was cleaning up the place, so there wasn't much left. They said there wasn't much left. Whether there was anything left there at all, we don't really know. The manager could have cleared everything out, could have taken it, but I don't think that's what happened. I do think that probably they did load everything up. Their lease was done and over with, and they probably were looking for the next place to go and maybe just did not inform their family this information. So after they hadn't contacted anybody for a while, Chad's family was able to get hold of the FBI. Now this is very unusual. As you know, if you are a family member of anybody's went missing, to get the FBI involved it just doesn't happen. They just are too busy with all their other things to do, and they really don't deal with missing person cases. It goes to the local police. But they were able to get the FBI involved, and they went and they looked through some video of the border crossing. I don't know if they assumed that maybe that's where they went, or they had talked to some people and came to this conclusion, but they did go through the video and they show Tammy and Chad going across the border. This is what they have said. This is what they've told the family. So I asked the family, have you seen the video? No, they have not seen the video. I got to think to myself, don't you want to see the video? I mean, I understand you believe what the FBI has told you, But those are your family members, and you might see something that unusual that they wouldn't pick up because they don't know these people. So they said they're going to be looking at those videos now. They're in the process of doing this because I just talked to them a couple days ago. So my thought process is, let's say they were going across the border. They told no one they were going there. You got to have passports. I mean, you can go there, but you can't get back without a passport. I haven't been to Mexico in a long, long time, so I haven't even attempted to go over there in many, many years. But I do know that things have changed, and you do have to have this before you're able to get back from Mexico. Now, did they go over without any passports? I don't know. Has anybody checked to see if they've got passports? I don't know. Another question that needs to be asked. Does the family know if they have passports? Has the FBI checked to see if they have passports? Another question we don't have the answer to. But if so they've gone over, and they're seen driving over, assumedly that's what the FBI says, they were seen driving over. And they said they did not look distressed, and they went across several times with their car full of things. So if they went across several times with their car full of things, their stuff had to be going somewhere. They had to have someplace mapped out, some hotel, some apartment, something that they were going to drop the stuff off and then go back and get another load and take it down there. But all this is going on, and they never mention anything to their family. Now, was somebody happen to be in the back seat of their car, holding a gun, telling them, you got to go across Mexico and then take me back again and then go back again? I don't know. I don't think so at this point in time, but we don't know. FBI says they don't look like they were in any state of panic or anything that would let them believe that they were under distress at all. So according to the FBI, they just were going back and forth willingly. So we're talking about, I'm looking at my notes here, November 9th, 2018 was their last communication with the family and the friends. And here we are, almost very close to a whole year and nothing. So are they living down there now? Have they not returned ever? I mean, when they went and they looked at that video, I suppose they could. Can't they run the license plate and see if they've come back across or not? We don't know. We also don't know if they are in Mexico and they did go down there of their own free will. Maybe they can't get back. Maybe they didn't get their passports. Maybe they weren't planning on coming back, but maybe they want to come back now. At one point in time, there was a phone call that came out of Mexico, and the friend answered it. And let's see what they said about the phone call. And that was December 2018, so a couple of months after they received a phone call. And it's from Temapachi, Mexico. So if you start at Bruni and you go through the border in, well, not even Laredo. You can go through Laredo and go back around the other way. And you head on this freeway 85 and go straight down. I'll show you the map in editing, and you go all the way down and just keep driving along. You don't. It's not on the coast, but it's next to the coast. And you keep driving all the way down. Eventually, you go to Temapachi. So, sorry if I'm brutalizing that name, Temapachi. And let's say that was them reaching out and trying to get a hold of somebody. We don't know. So the friend called the number back, and a woman answered. She said she'd never allowed anybody to use her phone, and she doesn't know any Americans, and she doesn't know why that phone call went over to this friend. So at this point, we have to figure that maybe it was an accidental call. Now, I did find out about some virtual kidnapping scams that were going on during this time period where people were calling. They would find on social media, they'd find when somebody was missing or maybe when they were traveling and assume they weren't in communication with their family right off. And then they would call and say, hey, I've got your family member. And if you don't give us $2,000 or $3,000, we're going to hurt them. And people don't even call the police. They just send the money over right away. And then afterwards they realize that it was all a scam, that the family was never kidnapped in the first place. Could this have been a beginning of one of those types of phone calls? We don't know. Then Roxana was all telling me about that there are also the Snapchat messages that she's been sending Tammy. And she says that she doesn't ever get any replies back, and that Tammy has Snapchat on ghost mode, but somebody is opening up the messages. About once a month they open up the messages and they look at them, and that's it. There's never been any response. And she said, I cannot believe that her family would go down there and not tell anybody what they were doing, not telling them they planned to go live down there. At this point, we really don't know a lot. The reason this whole case kind of stood out for me was because of them being sighted going in to Mexico. Because if you remember back, there was a case of the McStays who went missing from Fallbrook, California. And the police found a video of two adults and two children, and their back was to the camera, walking into Mexico. And the woman was wearing those boots with the lamb's wool inside, Ugg boots. Was wearing those Ugg boots, and that is what Summer McStay would always wear. So they, with that and seeing the back of these people, they decided that that was the McStay family. It wasn't until the McStays were found deceased in the desert several years later they realized that was never the McStay family. And that was my concern, and one of the reasons I reached out to Roxana, because I wanted to make sure that that video that they were looking at was their family and not a mistaken couple driving the car into Laredo, and to make sure that it was Tammy and Chad, and not two other people that were driving the car in there. Now, there's been a tip over in Virginia where this man says he has seen them over there, and Roxana got her hopes up because she said it's not too far from where they used to live, and she thinks this possibility, maybe it is them. Maybe they went to Mexico and things didn't work out and they crossed back over, and they are over in Virginia now, and they just haven't alerted their family. So they're checking on that tip as we speak. We don't know yet if that's going to pan out or not. And also, I wanted to bring up about the people that cross over to Mexico, and you may be surprised to find out that a lot of them go over there and then they can't get back. Back in 2016, I began getting tips from people, their photos of Americans in Mexico, and they're homeless, and you see them on the streets. The article is called American Missing and Men and Women in Mexico. Do you recognize them? And I began with one or two pictures, and then it's just grown from there, where I have quite a few people on there. Some of them look exactly like well-known missing people, but when I get a hold of the family, it turns out that they aren't, or in one case, it's still a possibility this could be somebody that's missing.